Well, new information on a serial killer mystery we've been following on Happening Now for several years. The attorney for the family of a New Jersey escort who was strangled to death in 2010 says a disgraced police official may have connections to 10 of 17 women who are believed to have been murdered by this so-called serial killer on Long Island. The bodies of these women were discovered in an area of Gilgo Beach after officials started searching for one of the women, Shannon Gilbert. Josh Zeman is a documentarian, an investigator, director of The Killing Season, which we want to mention is now available on Amazon, where you research in depth what happened to these women. And so now we have this twist and turn to the case, and so our viewers can catch up on Amazon if they'd like to see the story up to this point. Tell us a little bit about this police official and why suddenly he's back in the news in regard to this case.
Well, James Burke had been the former chief of police. He was eventually arrested, sentenced to 46 months for violating a guy's rights who broke into his car and found what's called nasty porn. He goes away, and now basically a sex worker tweeted us a couple days ago, says, I have some new information. Allegedly, she says that she had sex with James Burke in Oak Beach, which is literally 4 miles from where all these bodies were found, basically 5 months after it happened. So we really have to question what's going on here. And
just to set the scene for our viewers, we also went out a few years ago just to look at this area. It's an extremely desolate area. There's not a lot of residents there, although there are some homes. And so we're seeing some of the bramble, if you will, alongside the road where some of these bodies were discovered. So the FBI, at a certain point here, Josh, got involved with the investigation, but they weren't always involved with the investigation, and a lot of that had to do with this police chief that is now being questioned.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Well, what happened was, and in fact, we know that this former police chief and the DA prevented the FBI from kind of coming back into the case. The detectives had asked for more help, and they said, we don't need it. Now we're kind of asking why. Why didn't they want the FBI to come in? And the idea is that basically the police chief, maybe the DA didn't want the FBI kind of looking at their nefarious behavior.
And in the past they said, oh, well, that's because obviously of this pornography. Right. Or this is something that was going on that they were trying to hide from the FBI. They didn't want the FBI around because of that. Right. But now, Josh, what do you think? Do you think they didn't want the FBI around because they're connected in some way to these murders?
I mean, the allegation is that there must be some connection. And they haven't released Shannon Gilbert's 911 call, in which people speculate maybe she's kind of referring to a police official on the tape, saying either that's the person who's trying to kill her or asking, like, get this person.
And what's your understanding? Because this 911 call is long. It's not like it's a 911 call that's 30 seconds.
It's 20 minutes? Yeah, 23 minutes long.
So what, I mean, you've obviously asked for the 911 tapes. What are you told when you ask for them?
We're told they're part of evidence, and we keep saying, and as does Shannon Gilbert's estate lawyer, John Ray, saying that we need to know what's on these tapes. At this point, it's a public safety issue.
Absolutely, especially if the killer is still out there. And some have alleged, as we had did our own little investigation, if you will, they said, well, this is just a coincidence. This is an area where there's bodies that can be easily dumped, and there's these areas in every city. I mean, it sounds strange, doesn't it? But that's what we were told when we asked some questions.
Sure.
Now there's some more information, though, with certain body parts that have been found. And if you can summarize that,
right,
Josh, because there's another twist as well.
Right. So like one of the last things we were doing as we were wrapping up the series was we wanted to get this one body known as Jane Doe number 3, this one victim, into NamUs, which is this public database, so that basically people out there might be able to identify who she is. In asking the Nassau County Medical Examiner's Office to put this record in, they were forced to release that this individual is linked to a torso found in 1997 in Hempstead, which is like 40 miles away.
Wow, so does that mean whoever killed her has been on the loose since 1997?
Actually, 1996, because we know that there's another pair of severed legs that were found on Fire Island. We didn't know if that case was actually connected, but now knowing that we have this DNA match to a torso in 97, we know that they're all connected. And so we also know that the Suffolk County PD and the Nassau County PD knew that there was this connection for at least a year and a half. So why didn't they tell anybody?
Oh, there's some interesting questions here.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something, it's been a project for our show because we've thought, these are some of the most innocent, vulnerable people that were murdered and no
Absolutely.
one followed up. And hopefully we're closer to some answers. And Josh, sounds like you have another series that you have ahead of you. So hopefully we'll get those answers. Great to have you back.
Thanks so much.
Look forward to having you back as well.